And I have to tell you, the Coke is on it too. So,
Yes, I'm doing this for AP, but it's also going to be the generic handout stuff as well.
Whatever that means.
Just like the stuff they give out as for everyone to use as well. So
Right.
okay,
So you're going to do it in Japanese and French and stuff?
yeah. If you could give the answers in every language, that'd be great.
We'll give it a try.
I saw the film yesterday and I thought it was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. And out of all the films I've seen here, it's my favourite one for sure. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
First, I just wanted to sort of ask you about being in Berlin in general and what it's like to be here at this film festival, particularly the Berlin Film Festival.
I love Berlin. I've been here a lot of times, worked here, so it's by far my favorite capital of Europe. And now being invited to this Berlinale is just the icing on the cake. They've been very nice to the Danish throughout the last 15 years, and now they're doing it again, so we're just really grateful.
And your character in the film, it's kind of all the characters go through quite a lot of turmoil and stuff. Tell us a bit about your character and the sort of ideas he has that are sort of considered so sort of original and unique.
Well, his ideas are not super original compared to, a lot of people shared his ideas at that time. Voltaire, for instance, was the most famous spokesman for those ideas. So he's spreading the word as well, but he's not super active. He's not trying to make a revolution. He's a doctor and he's fine with that. He gets a chance to climb the social ladder. He meets the king, falls in love with the king, with this naive kid that he sees opportunities in, and he wants him to speak up for himself, the king. That's his project. He's not in there to change anything. But once the king starts transforming a little, he sees the opportunity that other people are whispering in his ear. Why should they do that? Why am I not whispering in his ear? I should whisper. Maybe once or twice or 10 times. Let's do it a year. And before he knows it, he's just he's doing the exact thing that he hated other people was doing to the king. But obviously he has the good motives, if you ask him.
And as the sort of title gives away, there is something that sort of goes wrong for him as well. What can you tell us about how he gets involved and what happens?
Yeah, well, it's terrible when you don't think with your head, and he falls madly in love with the queen, and she does as well. Falls in love with him, and obviously, so this is three people who love each other in different ways, and for that reason, it's becoming a very, very complicated job to be a man who takes care of Denmark. At the same time, he's trying to hide his relationship with the queen. And the fact that they're actually having a baby together, and these are the true facts that happened, and we know for sure that from her letters that he was having a stormful, very, very mad love affair.
And I mean, as you say, it's kind of based on real events. And so, what's your kind of knowledge of Danish history like? Was he aware of this story before,
Yeah.
and then what appealed as the story to be part of this?
I think we all know that story. I mean, what we know in basic is that this German doctor came up, shacked the queen, took over the country, and then they killed him. That's what we know. And digging deeper into the story, it's a little more elaborated than that, and it's a little more dualistic, and that was just very interesting and fascinating to dig in and figure out who were they, why were they doing this. We will also have to say, to be fair, we don't know exactly what happened in those days. We can guess, and we have some facts. This is definitely, with respect, our approach to what story we find interesting to tell. But what happened behind closed doors is very hard for us to say.
And what I really liked is sort of a historical drama that's in the actual language that it's supposed to be in. Was that kind of an appeal to you that it was going to be a Danish film in Danish?
It was very appealing for me to go back and speak some Danish again. But it's not the language it was supposed to be, because they did not speak Danish at the court. They were speaking French, they were speaking German, and some English as well. But for many reasons, we did not want, first of all, we didn't want to have 5 Danish actors standing there speaking French to each other. So we did it in Danish.
And you're doing a Danish film, but you're playing the foreigner in the film. Is that kind of strange to then?
It's a little weird, but I mean, the big theme of the film is not whether he was German or not. It's what happened with this man who saw the king in a different light, and changed Denmark forever. Whether he came from France or he came from Germany is not really important. It's important for the Germans and it's important for the Danes, but it's not important for the story.
Now, you're obviously known for some really big roles in Hollywood movies, so is it always like an ambition of yours to stay in sort of doing Scandinavian movies and always having one foot in that, and how do you see that in the future?
Yeah, I think that is an ambition that's going to be there forever. Basically, because that is my cultural base, that is where my language is, and this is where I can lean back and dig straight into the project without having 6 other hats on, which is like, oh, speak French, play piano, speak Russian. So this is, I can start a little more ahead from foreign films.
I want to talk a little bit about Mikkel's performance in the film because it's the king is just comes across so mad. How do you sort of see that the madness that the king has and how his character is, and then how do you see how it was played as well?
I see him very much like my character sees him. I see him with a lot of love. First of all, a lot of love, because there's a kid in there. There's a little spoiled kid who's also very insecure, and he's probably suffering from some disease. But there's also something magical in there. And the approach from Mikkel, it was like, that was a tough one. I mean, because it's his first film, oh, that's the camera, oh, that's the director, oh, hello. And then he was not supposed to be in the same film as us. He's in his own universe, right? So it was a very tough one. And the smart thing they did together, Nikolai and Mikkel, was that they did 2 versions all the time. They did the one they called the crazy version, and then they made the naive, the kid version. And that one was closer to the way we were acting, and the other one was a little farther away. But it made us all go sail in the same boat. And what he's doing with the characters is absolutely brilliant. He has to be like that. That's the story. And it's beautiful the way he nails it. It's a very difficult task he's doing, but it could have gone awesomely well, but it went so right.
So obviously you said as you said, he's a first-time actor, and so did you kind of help him through it all, and how do you see his sort of progression change as he went through and obviously got used to the whole experience?
Well, he progressed in the sense that he got more and more comfortable just being there, being an actor, taking his space, asking questions, having demands, and discussing the way we always discuss when we do a film. And that happened pretty fast, and I encourage him to do that a lot. I'm not going to tell him what to do because I didn't have to teach him anything, but I will definitely push him to take his place, because that's very important when you do any kind of film, especially with a character like that, and he did it right away.
As we were saying earlier, you've sort of gone off and you've done lots of Hollywood films. So what I was wondering is what you kind of miss most about Denmark when you're away from Denmark. What things do you think of when you think of Denmark?
Well, first of all, my family, obviously, because often they're here when I'm away. Language, it's my language, it's my hood. Some of the food, it's just my base. There's something comfortable about it, and it doesn't really matter if it's a beautiful country or an ugly country. I think everybody who has a base, they like their base, and that's what I do as well.
And of course, in this film, we learn a lot about the Danish history. But what do you think the biggest misconceptions about Denmark are, and what would you like people to sort of learn about Denmark generally?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't misunderstandings about Denmark. I mean, you will always have to visit a country to learn about the country. Whatever the media tells you, whatever you read in the newspaper, it will always be slightly out of proportion. You will have to go there. Any country in the world, you have to go there, you have to feel it. So I will invite people to go to Denmark if they find it interesting.
In this film as well, you worked very closely with Alicia, and she is now going off doing lots of Hollywood projects. Yeah. It's an amazing performance from her as well. What is it you think she has, and she's now going to be so successful? What do you think it is that she has that everyone wants part of?
Yeah, first of all, she's a brilliant actress, and she's working the right way. This is what we do. We focus. We try things out. And very important is if the camera likes me and Mikkel, it's in love with Alicia, and that is you can't buy that for money. It's just you either have it or you don't, and so that means that every little thing she does will be registered. It will be fragile. It will be something, and that's a gift. We would like to steal it from her, but we can't.
And I just wanted to ask you lastly about the director's style as well. What was his sort of style of filming? How did the shoot go in general? Like, and were you left to your own devices at all? Could you?
Nikolai is he's very precise. I knew he was stylistic, a master. He knows exactly what he wants, how it looks. The same way that he writes the script, it's a big wave. But that he turned out to be a personal director, an intimate director of that magnitude was not surprising, but it was very, very nice, because it is a period piece. But if you only do it as a stylistic thing, this is why you lose the emotions. And I think that if it can catch you at a historical piece, the director has done something right, and I think he was absolutely brilliant with all the actors.
Brilliant. We're out of time, I'm afraid, but that's a fantastic film, as I say. I really enjoyed it.